You know that old saying, if something is too good to be true? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, peep this out. It's your boy Ian K, back with another weekly Walking Dead Talkback. This one going over episode 13, an episode titled Alone, and definitely one of the cooler episodes so far in the second half of season 4. I definitely love the very beginning of this episode, showing the flashback of Bob meeting up with Daryl for the first time with Glenn in the very beginning before he got to the prison there. Really cool to see how they all interacted with each other. Seeing Bob on his own after everything that he had been through himself there, trying to survive. Really horrific beginning if you really consider being alone out there, nowhere, you don't know where you're at, trying to survive with all of these things happening around you there. It was really great to see. He didn't even think twice about going with Daryl and Glenn, regardless of the possible threat that they could have been, considering they had weapons on him the whole time. He was just happy to not be alone there. But episode focuses primarily on not only Bob and Maggie, which we finally see what's going on with her as well, and Sasha. We also focus on the continuation of last week with Daryl and Beth. And that was a very cool little arc in terms of showing the progression of their relationship as things are kind of moving, going on there. Those two happen upon a cemetery with a funeral home, and it was really kind of nice to see Beth is very conscious of the fact that regardless of people who are dead around them, there are good people out there. They are obviously still people. But when they got into this funeral home there, somebody's obviously dressing these bodies up. Somebody's kind of doing what they need to do with these bodies there. Maybe some sense of order possibly. But they happen upon a stash of food, but one thing that's really kind of interesting to see is that they noticed there was no dust on the jars. Obviously it looks like it was just put there. So we don't know exactly who these people are, possibly. We don't interact with them there, but we see Daryl and Beth trying to kind of hold up there, kind of stay there for a little bit. And it's only during that time that we really kind of see their relationship kind of move forward just a little bit longer as well too. There, a little peace and quiet for the two of them there. Major set piece for me, obviously, there, really watching Daryl in close quarters combat with those walkers when they actually kind of swarmed around that funeral home and they busted into the building there. Everyone was running around trying to figure out what they were going to do, and Daryl getting down into the basement area right over there. How was he going to get out of that? All he's got is a crossbow. It was a very tense scene, but watching him use those gurneys at the very bottom during those preparation tables down over there for the bodies was just an awesome action sequences there, moving through, going underneath, getting out there. Was very tense. And actually when he did get outside, only to see Beth, it looks like she was kidnapped by somebody there, and a car was running off and he was running after them. Very tense overall. So very cool arc with that. They definitely moved the story along. I'm curious to see exactly what's going to happen for next week with them. For Bob, Maggie, and Sasha, biggest thing with them obviously is that they didn't want to split up. At least initially Bob didn't want to. Sasha pretty much didn't want to follow to Terminus, which is where the story is going there. Everyone seems to be kind of converging on that area, so they're kind of making their way up over there. These last few episodes are focused individually as they're finding the details on where to go, and for Sanctuary, when you arrive, you survive, that type of thing. So we're going to see exactly what's going to happen closer towards the season finale, I think. But for Bob, Sasha, and Maggie, very intense arc in terms of the fact that they had their convictions and why they wanted to do what they wanted to do. Obviously Bob wanted to stick together, get to Terminus. You know, obviously it's a majority vote, so let's make sure that we go. Only when they wake up the next morning we see that Maggie has left on her own. She wants to find Glenn, she wants to just get there. Basically doesn't want to sacrifice the two of them. Let's just, she needs to do what she has to do. Obviously her conviction is there. To that point that we see Bob and Sasha talking a little bit further as they're going up the tracks. They're kind of focusing on what's important to them, the idea of getting to where they need to go. Sasha just wants to kind of hold up somewhere, go get somewhere where there's higher ground. She's really scared that if they get up to Terminus, they think it's going to be a trap. If you guys have read the comic book, there are shades of a lot of that going on there. I'm not going to spoil it for you there, but I'm curious to see how they're going to handle these events as we go forward. But obviously, Bob decides he wants to keep going to Terminus. Sasha's like, you know what, I'm going to stay, I'm going to hang back. There's a building right over here. I'm going to, stay to higher ground. Bob goes off, does his thing. Sasha stays in that building, and it's at that moment when she gets to the top that she sees that Maggie is actually there close by. Looks like she was laying down, either exhausted or whatever may have been there, just kind of like amongst the bodies. When she gets down there, everyone kind of goes crazy, and there's a big whole combat sequence there again, special effects off the chain. Definitely enjoyed that without a doubt. Very, very good special effects always. From there, we basically, they make it out alive, and they're headed towards Terminus. They decide, you know what, it's better to be in numbers, let's just get to where we're going, and they make their way up over there. So very, very solid in terms of that there. Another couple of highlights from this episode, obviously Daryl seeing that Beth was possibly kidnapped, most likely, considering there's no way that she could have gotten keys to get into a car on her own. We never even saw this car to begin with. We meet up with the group that Daryl encounters. These are the same guys that Rick actually had an issue with a couple of issues back in an episode called Claimed. It looks like a bunch of rapists and thieves. It's very possible, and I'm just kind of speculating here, these very well could be a version of the Hunters from the comic book. The way they're introduced is a little different. If it's the way that I'm thinking, this could be some of those people, some of that group there, and again, a very nasty group of people, and obviously we're seeing these guys are not very nice guys at all. They basically take Daryl into the fold. Daryl is exhausted and basically has really surrounded. There's nothing he could do except just kind of go with them there. So we're going to see exactly what's going to happen, I'm sure, next week. And then we end off with Glenn, the very last scene, basically finding the map as well. Terminus, this is where you need to go. All roads lead to here. When you arrive, you survive for the sanctuary. And we're going to see what's going to happen with that. So exciting stuff to come. I'm sure we've got 3 episodes left this season. I'm very excited to see how they're going to do what they're going to do with it there. Where are they going to finish off with the season in terms of the way the story is based upon the comic? If you guys have read the comic, you already know that a lot of the characters, a lot of the situations are very different compared to this. The people who were killed early on in the comic book are still alive on the show, and vice versa. There's a lot of interesting ways that they can go with this, but again, very excited to see. Very awesome episode overall. Guys, I'm curious to know, what did you think of the episode? Do you think it's going to be pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of what the comic book is? What do you guys think overall there? What did you think of the arc with Bob Stuckey, especially his kind of envisioning of what's happening with himself personally there? He's really finding that he's just happy not to be alone any longer. He's really kind of focused more. Didn't really focus anything on the alcoholic aspect of his character so far. He's really just kind of was glad to be around people. I'm curious to know what you guys thought. Drop those comments down below and let me know. I'm very curious there. And as always, guys, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Please like, share, and subscribe to Peep This Out. Every week we've got the Walking Dead Talkback in addition to some food reviews, sometimes movie reviews, tech reviews, TV show reviews, including this one, obviously. So you never know what you're going to find. The goal is to keep it interactive, keep it entertaining. I definitely love putting these things together for all of you guys. As always, you know how we do it. This has been your boy Ian K. again for Peep This Out. We will talk to you next time. Stay frosty.
Sanctuary, those who arrive survive.